What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got a lot going on here and multiple different things to talk about here. But first, we got a major decision that just happened that is going to affect all of us here in the United States. And this is going to not be good here. We'll start with this one here. Check this out. OPEC has just decided to cut oil production by 2 million barrels per day to raise oil prices, which will raise gasoline prices and diesel prices, which will ultimately lead to raising prices of a lot of other things like food prices and anything you buy at the store, defying U.S. pressure. Now, I had reported here a day ago that OPEC, the speculation is that OPEC might cut production by 1 million barrels a day, which would have been very drastic. And that earlier in the year, a few months ago, they cut production by 100,000 barrels a day. And if they cut production by 1 million barrels a day, that it would have a dramatic effect on the price of oil and the price of gas. Well, they didn't do that. They cut production by 2 million barrels of oil per day. 2 million barrels per day. So this is what these oil and gas companies do. Well, remember, this is actually kind of even before the oil and gas companies, but it's kind of part of them, right? This is the major countries there over Saudi Arabia and over there. And this is going to raise the cost of gas and oil even here in the United States. You can see here, OPEC will cut production by 2 million barrels a day, likely sending gas and oil prices back up. The decision comes after gas prices spiked in the US in the summer and have trended downward in recent weeks. President Biden disappointed by OPEC decision to cut oil production, but this is already having an immediate effect here. You can see here the price of oil, WTI crude, already spiking up here. We were in the lower 80s. We're now up to almost $88 a barrel. Brent crude already up to over $93 a barrel. 93.37 already at the just the announcement of this. They haven't even started cutting. It hasn't even been a day. It hasn't even been hours since they've announced this. Already the price of oil massively spiking here. Remember, this plus 1% is only just in the last 11 minutes. Okay, this is how much gas or oil has spiked already. And remember, these are worldwide prices. This will affect the US prices as well. In fact, even before this announcement, we were seeing gas prices here in the US spiking already before this announcement. So we are going to see gas prices go up even more than they're going up now. So here's the national average price of gas. We'll get to how bad California is. California is having a criminal crisis in California here. It's literally, they need to have prosecutions going on there. What is so bad over there right now? But you can see here, gas went up 3 cents in the last day alone before this announcement. Before this announcement, 3 cents per day is about the highest we ever see, ever, when it goes up that much. Okay? And again, that's before this announcement. Now, the thing is that, so in the last week, we have gone up, what is that, 4 plus 3, that's 7 cents in the last week alone. So we multiply that times let's see here. Well, 30 days, 7 cents a week. We'll say we're starting to go up about 30 cents a month here already before this announcement. So we have now reversed the trend of going down, and gas prices are now going back up every day now. So these oil and gas companies have got their wish, and the countries in the Middle East and Russia, part of OPEC, have got their wish. They don't want oil and gas prices to get too low. They're going to cut production enough to raise the prices and make everybody around the world and in the US pay more money for gas so that they can put the squeeze on everybody and line their pockets and make sure that everybody pays more and that they get billions and billions of dollars more. This is exactly what happens, guys. Now, the thing is President Biden's going to take the blame for this, and other presidents around the world are going to take the blame for this. If you're from the UK, that the UK president's probably taking blame for the prime minister. If you're from Germany or Italy or who knows what other country, they're probably all blaming their presidents for this as well. And the reality of it is this is happening all around the world. Oil prices are now going to probably trend up for months. And remember that we're at right now $87 a barrel, $93 a barrel. But remember, back in March, this was at a $135 a barrel. And this was at 140. It actually went over 140. I think it got to like 143 or something like that. And when we look at the highs here, we actually hit the high in June. I remember this, saying, why are the highs in June when the oil highs were in March? And it was just kind of, we couldn't believe it here. But these were the highest recorded averages here in March. 501 for regular and 581 for diesel. And again, these are the average prices in the US. Now, California is paying nearly 70% more for gasoline at the pump than the rest of the country right now. Now, California normally pays a little bit more than the US because they have a little bit higher gas taxes, and they pay, well, a moderate high more gas taxes. And they also have a different blend of gasoline to bring the pollution down in California. But right now, they're criminally being gouged in California. Take a look at this. And remember, California is the largest state population-wise. What is going on there is unbelievable. Here is California's average gas prices here. $6.42. And a week ago, they were $6.03. So they have basically gone up in 1 week by 40 cents. I mean, it's 39 cents, but we'll just round and say 40 cents here. So when you've gone up in gas by 40 cents in 1 week, basically just because the gas companies want to charge more money in one state for no reason, they're saying because they're having refinery maintenance on refineries. This is unbelievable. And look at where we were a year ago, 441. Now it's 642. So they're charging $2 more a gallon in California than where we were a year ago. Just because we want to. Remember, oil is still in the 80s. And remember, they're artificially going to raise production or lower production to raise the price of oil even more so that we pay even more at the gas pump than we are now. So brace yourself if you're from California or from any state to pay even more money than we're paying now. Now, luckily, California has stimulus checks starting this week coming out of up to $1,050, going out to over 20 million people. I have a video on that. I'll link you to that along with several other states as well. I'll link you to that here at the end of this video so you can see that. California is just one of 33 different states that are passing out stimulus checks, tax rebate checks, property tax checks. California has enough money to do this again, as really do all states, and not a single state has used all their stimulus money or all their surplus money. And really, we may need to see states step that up because it's going to get worse now with gas prices. It's almost a certainty. And let me see here. Let me go back here. You can see here from Business Insider, the White House is reportedly weighing a controversial measure to lower gas prices ahead of the midterm elections. I don't know if that really matters, but this is what the headline says here. Here's what the details say. The White House is eyeing a ban on exports of US gas to bring down rising prices at the pump. I will tell you the details on whether or not this will bring down prices here. Biden has faced off with the oil industry over high gas prices, a key focus for his administration. These gas companies are just literally just gouging Americans at will and doing what they want. We'll get to that here in a second. The U.S. gas prices tick higher. The White House has reportedly asked the Energy Department to look into whether a ban on exporting our gas and oil would pull down the cost of pumps at the pump for the American drivers. The move is a sign the idea of a ban is gaining support in the Biden administration in the face of opposition from the oil industry. Of course, the oil industry is going to be against it. The measure would cover U.S. exports of diesel and other refined petroleum products, as well as gas. There have been heated discussions between the White House officials and the oil industry bosses over the need to lower gas prices, according to Bloomberg. Last week, President Biden slammed the energy giants and gas stations for raking in hefty profits and calling on them to cut gas prices immediately. Now, this is all happening while these oil companies are bringing in record profits this year, a lot of them, more than they ever have in their history of their companies. These top 5 oil companies just ranked in $35 billion, while Americans pay more at the pump. You could see a quote here. The combined profits of the largest energy companies in the first quarter of this year are close to $100 billion. The grotesque greed of the fossil fuel industry and their financiers is punishing the poorest and most vulnerable people while destroying our only home. In fact, just here recently, Exxon, Chevron, and Shell posted record profits in the second quarter of 2022 as the companies announced earnings here just at the end of July. The profits come as the world saw extremely high prices of both oil and gasoline. And Exxon made $17.9 billion in just one quarter alone. Chevron made $11.6 billion in one quarter alone. And Shell made $11.5 billion, up from $9.1 billion the previous quarter alone. Now, a lot of people are going to instantly say that we should ban the export of our gas and oil because it just sounds like that's what we should do. Okay. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's what we should do. I know as an American, it sounds like it's what we should do. But I'm not sure about this. Here's what people are saying, but take this with a grain of salt. Here's some quotes. Quote, banning or limiting the export of refined products would likely decrease inventory levels, reduce domestic refining capacity, put upward pressure on consumer fuel prices, and alienate U.S. allies during a time of war. The heads of the American Petroleum Institute and American fuel and petrochemical manufacturers wrote. Crude prices could also hit $100 a barrel or more if OPEC cuts production as expected, which they did just announce. Now, years ago, this was many, many years ago. I don't even know. It's been, I don't know, 20 years or so. We used to not be allowed to export our oil. But see, if we cut the capacity or the ability to, Congress has to do it, I believe, to export our oil, then it would probably severely limit our ability to import oil as well, because countries probably aren't going to sell oil to us if we're not selling oil out as well. So this is a very tricky game. It's not necessarily just like, oh, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Now we do have enough oil to be energy independent. Okay, we're the largest oil producer in the world. Okay, but we sell oil and we import oil. That we're constantly selling oil and importing oil, different kinds of oil. There's light oil, there's heavy oil, there's dark and light and crude. There's all these different types of oil. Okay, there's a very complicated thing, and the oil companies are doing this all on their own. The Biden administration and the White House really doesn't have a lot to do with this. They really only control like the strategic petroleum reserve and stuff like this. Congress would have to pass the law, I believe. We'll have to see what happens here with this to ban this. Okay, and Republicans, I think they would need 10 votes in the Senate to do this. Republicans may or may not go along with this. You know, it's a Democratic thing, so whether or not they would do that or not, whether or not this would even be good for our country or not, we'll have to see what consensus would say here. It might not even work. It might raise our prices. It might lower our prices. We'll have to see. I'll keep you up to date. Let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think it would lower our prices? Do you think it would raise our prices? Do you think this is good? Should we keep all of our oil here at home? If we do that, do you think that would limit our capacity or our availability to import oil as well? It's a very tricky game. It's a very tricky. Uh, yeah, let me know if you know what movie that's from. Also, the new Hocus Pocus 2 is coming out, or it's already out, I think. We haven't seen it yet, but if you watch Halloween movies, me and my wife love Hocus Pocus 1. We've seen it many times. Let me know if you've seen it as well. And we're going to be watching that soon. I think we'll probably watch it with our son, Julian. I think he's probably old enough to watch it, although we haven't seen it yet. Probably old enough to watch it here together. Uh, yeah, I would think so. But I think all the original cast members are there in the second one. Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Mary Sanderson. Her name is Kathy Najimy. Probably saying that wrong there. But yeah, really cool to see that. My wife loves Sarah Jessica Parker, and she's watched her in all the Sex and the Cities and stuff. But she didn't like the second one. She only watched like the first episode where there was that big shocking thing that happened in the first episode. Let me know if you watched that. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. And then she had a hard time watching it ever since then. So yeah. kind of there. But this is third on the charts for IMDb. Wow, very, very popular right now. So let me know if you've watched it yet, or if you're going to be. But yeah, we're gonna be watching that here soon. Let me know if you're a big Halloween movie person. We don't watch a lot of the scary movies, but we do watch some Halloween stuff. We're gonna be going to some pumpkin patches and stuff with our son Julian and doing some fall festival stuff. Yeah, we recently went to a thing with some slides and this corn pit. We could like had all this corn in there, like hard corn, and we blew. Laura said she's still finding it in her dryer. It was like a picture like a ball pit, but with corn. And we got to pick sunflowers. There's a sunflower field. Maybe I'll have her show some footage here later on. But yeah, really, really cool thing that we went to, and we had a lot of fun. So let me know what you're doing here for fall, and I'll keep you up to date here. Make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this way you won't miss out on our new videos. You can click here to see more checks, some that are actually coming out here this week to millions of Americans. And here is a very important date coming out here on October 13th for Social Security recipients. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.